"Stop!" A voice like freezing steel commanded, cutting through the clang of the hammer against the rusted lock. Ilara froze, her thin jacket useless against the sudden chill that had nothing to do with the weather and everything to do with the man emerging from the shadows of the storage facility. Alpha Kalen. His power rolled off him in suffocating waves, smelling of pine and ozone, and his eyes, a piercing silver, were fixed not on her, but on the scarred, corrugated metal door of Unit 4B. "That unit," he growled, his voice a low vibration that shook her bones, "is mine." Wait, before the next revelation unfolds. If this mystery has already captivated you, let us know where you're following this story from. To ensure you don't miss unexpected claims, broken bonds, or awakenings under the moon, subscribe and stay close. Now, back to the scene. Ilara's hammer clattered to the cracked concrete, the sound obscenely loud in the sudden silence. She stumbled back, pressing herself against the neighboring unit's door. This was Stonecrest territory. She was Riverbend, a scav, a dreg, as Kalen's high-born pack members called her people. Riverbend was a sliver of mud and cracked pavement that the Stonecrest pack allowed to exist on the polluted edge of their glittering, forest-bound city. Being here was dangerous. Being caught trying to break into a unit claimed by the Alpha was a death sentence. I'm sorry, Alpha," she stammered, her words catching in her throat. Her wolf, a weak, flickering thing she hadn't felt in months, whimpered and tried to crawl into her ribs. "There's a mistake. This is our unit. My parents, we've paid on it." Kalen took another step, and the sheer density of his presence forced the air from her lungs. He was exactly as the rumors described, brutally beautiful, carved from mountain rock and shadow, with no mercy in his expression. He was the most powerful Alpha in the territory, and he looked at her like she was something he'd scraped off his boot. "The lease was terminated," Kalen stated. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. The world bent to his will. "The contents are forfeit." "No!" The word burst from her, sharper than she intended. Panic, cold and sharp, clawed its way up her throat. "It can't be! We paid! We've always paid! For 19 years!" 19 years. Her entire life. Her adoptive father, Samuel, had died 3 weeks ago. A logging accident that the Stonecrest Patrol hadn't bothered to investigate. Her mother, Martha, was sick, a fading sickness that stole her breath and her strength, a sickness that required medicine Ilara couldn't afford. Samuel had been the one who always handled the payment for Unit 4B. It was their one strange secret. An antique storage unit, Samuel had called it, filled with the last remnants of a better time. Ilara had never seen inside. The rule was absolute. Never go near it. Never ask questions. And never, ever open it until the dawn of your 19th birthday. That dawn was tomorrow. But the rent for their tiny apartment was late. Martha was coughing blood, and the little money Samuel had hidden under a floorboard was gone. Ilara had found the payment reminder for the storage unit yesterday, crumpled in his coat pocket. Final notice. She had come here hoping to find something, anything of value inside. An antique she could sell for medicine. A memory of the better times Samuel had spoken of. Instead, she had found the rusted lock replaced with a new, heavy-duty bolt, and an eviction notice signed by the facility manager. Kalen's silver eyes narrowed, raking over her threadbare clothes and the desperate hunger in her thin face. "Your payments are irrelevant. The Stonecrest Council has laid claim to this unit by right of salvage. It contains an artifact of our people, stolen long ago." "An Artifact? She whispered. No, it's just old things. My father's things. Your father was a riverbend scavenger. He had no right to it. He motioned, and two of his betas, Marcus and Jace, materialized from the gloom. Alpha, Marcus, the elder of the two, said, his voice respectful but tight. The manager is here. A weaselly, pale man hurried forward, wringing his hands. Alpha Kellen, sir, just as you asked. The bolt is cut. We can have the unit cleared within the hour. No, please. Ilara lunged forward, grabbing at Callan's arm. It was a catastrophic mistake. The moment her fingers brushed the sleeve of his leather jacket, an electric shock, white-hot and blinding, arced between them. It wasn't static. It felt like lightning, like life. It slammed into her chest, and for a half-second, she felt her dormant, useless wolf rear up inside her, snarling. Callan recoiled as if burned, his own body rigid. He stared at his arm, then at her, his disbelief warring with a sudden, animalistic darkness in his eyes. He grabbed her wrist, his grip a manacle of iron. The shock came again, stronger this time, and a gasp tore from his lips. He smelled it. Under the scent of rain and poverty, under the stench of the riverbend slums, he smelled something else. Something wild and sweet, like night-blooming jasmine and ozone. His wolf, the massive, dominant beast that ruled the Stonecrest, was clawing at the inside of his skull, roaring one impossible word: mate. He shoved her away hard. Ilara stumbled and fell, landing painfully on her hip. The magic, or whatever it was, vanished, leaving her colder than before. Get her out of here, Callan snarled, turning his back on her. He was breathing heavily, fighting for control. The recognition had shaken him to his core. Her? This child? This half-starved, wolfless Omega from the gutter? The fates were cruel. "Wait!" Ilara cried, scrambling to her feet. "Please, Alpha! My mother is sick. My father just died. This is all we have left. He told me I had to wait until tomorrow. My birthday." Kaelin went very still. The word birthday seemed to echo in the space between them. He looked over his shoulder, his face an unreadable mask of granite. "Tomorrow?" he asked, his voice dangerously soft. "My 19th, she whispered, tears of humiliation and desperation blurring her vision. The tension ratcheted tighter. Jace, the younger beta, shifted, sensing the alpha's sudden, violent internal conflict. The number 19 meant something. "Alpha," Marcus intervened, stepping slightly in front of Ilara. "The elders were specific. The artifact must be secured before the new moon." "I am aware of the elders' concerns," Kaelin snapped. He stared at Ilara, his gaze analytical, cold, as if trying to solve a puzzle that disgusted him. He was supposed to be mated to Livia, the strong, alpha-blooded daughter of the Silvermoon Pack, a political alliance that would secure his borders and strengthen his bloodline. He was not supposed to be bonded to a shivering, worthless stray. This had to be a trick, a curse. But the bond, once sparked, could not be ignored. It was a raw, aching pull in his chest. "One day," he decided, the words torn from him. "Alpha?" Jace questioned, confused. "She has one day." Kaelin fixed Ilara with a glare that promised retribution. 24 hours. You will come back here tomorrow at sundown. You will open this unit for me. You will give me what is inside. And in return, I will see to your mother's medical care and overlook your presence here today." The manager sputtered. "But, Alpha, the council. Do you question my command?" Kaelin's voice dropped, and the manager physically shrank. "No, Alpha, of course not." 24 hours, Scavenger, Kaelin said to Ilara. "Tomorrow, at sundown. Do not be late. And do not, he added, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper, try to run. I will find you. He turned and swept from the facility, his betas falling in behind him. The air rushed back into the space he had occupied, but Ilara still couldn't breathe. He had given her a day. He had given her an impossible choice. He was offering to save Martha, but at the cost of the one thing her father had died to protect. She scrambled to her feet and ran, not to the manager, not to the unit, but back home, back to Martha. She had to know. What was in Unit 4B? The small, damp apartment smelled of sickness and boiled cabbage. Martha was asleep, her breathing a shallow, wet rattle in her chest. Ilara's heart clenched. The medicine from the clinic doctor, a human who served the riverbend, was doing nothing. "Martha," she whispered, gently shaking her mother's thin shoulder. "Mom, wake up, please." Martha's eyes fluttered open, clouded with fever. "Ilara, you're back. Did you find food?" Ilara's stomach twisted with guilt. "No, I went to the storage unit." The change was instantaneous. The fog in Martha's eyes vanished, replaced by a sharp, brittle terror. She grabbed Ilara's arm, her fingers surprisingly strong. "No, Samuel said never, not until your time." "My time is tomorrow," Ilara said gently, her voice breaking. "And we don't have until tomorrow. Dad's gone, Mom. The money's gone. And they know." "They?" Martha's face went ashen. "Who knows?" "Alpha Kalen. He was there. He claimed the unit. He said it has a pack artifact in it." Martha released her, a terrible, low keen escaping her lips. "So, it begins. After 19 years. Samuel tried. Oh, he tried to hide it. He tried to protect you." "Protect me from what? What is in there? What antique did you and Dad pay for 19 years when we were starving?" Martha struggled to sit up, her body trembling with the effort. "Not an antique, child. Not just a thing." "It was a cradle." Ilara stared. "A cradle? Like for a baby?" "A silver cradle," Martha whispered, her eyes distant, locked on a memory. 19 years ago, Samuel and we were broken. The pack doctors had just told us we would never have pups. Our alpha, Kalen's father, he was a hard man. He said we were a drain on the pack's resources. He exiled us, sent us to Riverbend to rot. Ilara nodded, tears welling. She had heard this story. We were scavenging near the old abandoned storage yard. It was human-run then, before Stonecrest took the territory. We were looking for scrap, and we felt it. A thrum, like a heart, but not. It was coming from Unit 4B. The lock was old, frozen shut. Samuel broke it. Martha's eyes met Ilara's, and the secret was so heavy it threatened to crush them both. The unit was empty, Martha breathed, except for it. A cradle, made of pure shining silver, covered in runes, moon runes, and inside what? Ilara whispered, dread coiling in her belly. "You." Ilara's world tilted. "What? No. You said you found me by the river." "We lied," Martha wept, the tears tracking through the lines of age and sickness on her face. "We lied to protect you. You were in the cradle, Ilara, a newborn babe, not crying, just glowing, a soft silver light. You were wrapped in a cloak of stars. We knew you were magic. We knew you were wolf, but not like us." She fumbled under her thin pillow and pulled out a small, tarnished silver key, pressing it into Ilara's hand. "Samuel, he felt the lock click shut the moment we took you out. It was magic. It was sealing itself away. He knew right then that whoever put you there, they were either hiding you or they were dead. He found the lease papers in the unit, paid in advance for 1 year. We just kept paying. It was our secret, our penance and our gift. We couldn't have pups, but the moon goddess, she gave us you." Ilara stared at the key in her palm. Her blood was roaring in her ears. She wasn't an orphan from the river. She was an abandonment. "Who am I?" she asked, her voice hollow. "We don't know," Martha said, her voice weak. "But Samuel, that accident, it wasn't an accident. He was late with the payment. He went to the facility manager to beg for time. He must have been seen. Someone is hunting you, Ilara. And Alpha Kalen, he doesn't know what he's claiming. He thinks it's an artifact. He doesn't know the artifact is you." A cold, terrifying realization dawned on Ilara. Alpha Kalen, when I touched him, I felt something. It hurt. Martha's eyes widened. The bond. Oh, blessed moon. No, not him. He's his father's son. Hard, cruel. He said to meet him tomorrow at sundown, Ilara said, her mind racing. He wants me to open it for him. He wants the cradle, Martha whispered, fear tightening her voice. If he takes the cradle, if he finds out what it is, what you are, he might see you as a threat, or a prize, a thing to be used. You cannot let him have it, Ilara. But my medicine. The dilemma was a vice crushing her. Save her mother or protect the secret of her own identity. "I'll go," Ilara said, her voice hardening with a resolve she didn't know she possessed. "I'll meet him, but I'll go tonight, on my terms, on my birthday, her 19th birthday, the day the rules said she could finally open it." "Ilara, no, it's too dangerous." "It's more dangerous to wait," Ilara said, tucking the key into her pocket. "He's expecting a scared little Omega tomorrow. He won't be expecting me tonight." She kissed Martha's forehead. "I'll be back, I promise." She slipped out of the apartment, leaving her sick mother in the dark, and ran back toward Unit 4B. She wasn't just a scavenger anymore. She was a mystery, and the key was burning a hole in her pocket. Kalen stormed into his private study in the Stonecrest Manor, sweeping a stack of reports off his desk. They scattered across the obsidian floor. "Alpha?" Marcus stood in the doorway, his expression carefully neutral. "Get out," Kalen growled. Kalen. Marcus used his given name, a privilege reserved for their long history as childhood friends, long before the alpha-beta dynamic had consumed them. "Talk to me. What happened back there? You felt it, didn't you?" Kalen pressed the heels of his hands into his eyes, trying to block out the image of the girl. The scent of her. Jasmine and ozone. It's a trick. It has to be. "It's not," Marcus said quietly. "My wolf felt the echo. Faint, but it was there. She's your mate, Kalen. The fates have bound you to a Riverbend Omega." "She's not an Omega!" Kalen roared, slamming his fist against the wall. The stone shuddered. "Omegas have sense. They have wolves. She has nothing. She's a void. But when I touched her..." "The spark," Marcus finished. "The elders will be displeased." "Displeased?" Kalen laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "They will demand I reject her. Our pack is dying, Marcus. The birth rates are at an all-time low. Our magic is fading. We need the alliance with Silvermoon. We need Livia's strong bloodline. We need the artifact in that unit." "What is this artifact?" Marcus asked. "The elders have been cryptic. They only told you it was the lunar cradle." "The cradle of the first Luna," Kalen said, his voice dropping. "Legend says it was a gift from the moon goddess, capable of amplifying a true Luna's power, capable of healing a pack from the inside out. Our ancestors supposedly guarded it until the Night Sky Pack stole it centuries ago." "The Night Sky Pack? They were wiped out," Marcus said. "A plague, wasn't it?" "So the histories say. But the elders believe a Riverbend scavenger, that girl's father, found it. How he managed to hide its power signature for 19 years, I have no idea." "But it's failing. Our seers felt it flicker 3 weeks ago, right when the old man died." Kalen paced, his wolf a raging storm beneath his skin. The girl, the cradle, the 19th birthday, it's all connected. She's part of it, a key, maybe, a guardian. He stopped, his silver eyes flashing. Or she's a curse sent to distract me. "And the bond," Marcus pushed. "The bond is a problem," Kalen snarled, "a weakness. I will secure the cradle for my pack. I will honor the alliance with Livia, and I will deal with the girl as I see fit. Tomorrow at sundown, this ends." "And if she is your mate?" Kalen looked at his friend, his face devoid of all emotion. "Then the fates have a sick sense of humor, and I will defy them." The storage facility was silent, bathed in the cold light of the approaching midnight moon. Alara moved like a shadow, the small, tarnished key clutched in her fist. The heavy-duty bolt Kalen's men had put on the door was gone, replaced by the original, rusted lock she had been hammering on. Kalen must have ordered it. He wanted her to open it. Her hands trembled as she slid the key into the lock. It was impossibly small for such a large, corroded mechanism. But the moment the silver key touched the metal, a soft click echoed in the night. The rust on the lock seemed to flake away, and the mechanism turned smoothly, silently. She took a deep breath, steeling herself. "You are the girl from the cradle. You are not a scavenger." She pulled the heavy, groaning door up. It slid open, revealing an abyss. The air that rushed out was not musty or old. It was cold, clean, and electric, smelling of snow and starlight. Martha was right. The unit was empty. Except for the thing in the center. It was a cradle, just as she'd said. But cradle was too simple a word. It was magnificent, carved from a metal that looked like solidified moonlight, pulsing with a faint, internal silver light. It was easily 5 feet long, and the runes etched into its surface seemed to move, shifting like liquid constellations. It wasn't an antique, it was timeless. It was humming, a low, soft thrum that matched the terrified beat of her own heart. Alara stepped inside, her worn sneakers silent on the concrete. She was drawn to it, a moth to a lunar flame. This was her origin. This was the thing that had held her. As she got closer, the humming grew, resonating in her bones. The air grew warmer. The light inside the cradle brightened, illuminating the small, bare space. She reached out a trembling hand. "Don't," a voice whispered in her mind. "It's a trap." "Touch it," her own broken wolf seemed to whisper back. "We're so cold. Touch it and be warm." Her fingers, chapped and raw from the cold, brushed the edge of a silver rune. The world exploded. It wasn't a sound, it was a feeling. A tidal wave of power slammed into her, rushing out of the cradle and into her. It felt like dying and being born all at once. The weak, flickering ember of her wolf ignited, roaring into a silver inferno. Power she never knew she had, power that had been locked away, flooded her veins. Her vision bleached white, and she heard 1,000 whispers, 1,000 memories that weren't hers. They are coming. Hide the child. The blood must be saved. The usurper must not win. She screamed, collapsing to her knees as the light poured from her, a column of pure silver energy shooting up through the ceiling of the storage unit and into the night sky. Miles away, Kalen felt it. He was on his balcony, brooding, when the sky to the south, toward Riverbend, lit up with a soft silver pulse. It wasn't lightning. It was magic. At the same instant, the mate bond in his chest didn't just pull, it yanked, so hard he doubled over, clutching his ribs. "Marcus!" he roared. The power surge was raw, untamed, and overpoweringly familiar. It was the scent of night-blooming jasmine, magnified 1,000 times. It was her. He didn't wait for his beta. He shifted mid-leap from the balcony, his massive black wolf hitting the ground running. He was faster than any vehicle, a shadow streaking through the forests that separated the manor from the city. The power was coming from the storage facility. She had disobeyed him. She had gone early, and she had unleashed this. He burst through the facility's main gate, shifting back to his human form in a blur of motion. The air was thick with magic, so potent it made his teeth ache. The door to Unit 4B was wide open, silver light pouring from it like water. He stormed inside, ready for a fight, ready for a trick. He found her crumpled on the floor, bathed in the blinding light, which was originating from her. Her eyes were open, glowing with the same silver fire as the cradle. And the cradle itself, its light, was fading. It was transferring. She looked up at him, and he saw a stranger. This was not the starving, terrified scavenger. This was a being of pure, incandescent power. And as the light settled, sinking into her skin, her true scent was finally, irrevocably unlocked. It was the scent of the first Luna, the scent of the moon goddess herself. His wolf, which had been confused, was now howling in absolute, primal certainty. Mate, Luna, ours. He took a step forward, his hand outstretched, his mind reeling. What are you? Ilara looked at him, the silver glow fading from her eyes, replaced by a dawning horror. The whispers in her head had stopped, but the power remained, a wild river raging beneath her skin. She stammered, the new power making her voice resonate. She, a new voice slithered from the shadows, is the one who got away. Both Kalen and Ilara spun. Leaning against the doorframe was a man Ilara had never seen, but Kalen recognized instantly. Alpha Valerius of the rival Shadowfell Pack, a rogue who operated in the dark, rumored to deal in blood magic. Valerius, Kalen snarled, moving to stand between him and Ilara. This is Stonecrest territory. You are not welcome here. I'm not here for your territory, pup, Valerius sneered. He was older, with a gaunt face and eyes like chips of obsidian. I'm here for my property. His eyes locked on the cradle, and a greedy, possessive light entered them. And for the little battery that was supposed to die in it. What are you talking about? Kalen demanded. 19 years, Valerius hissed, his gaze fixing on Ilara. I hunted the Night Sky Pack to extinction. I killed her parents. I trapped the child in that suppressor cradle, hoping it would drain her dry, turn her blood magic into a neat, transportable artifact. I abandoned it here, in this human dump, letting the suppression field and starvation do my work. Ilara felt the blood drain from her face. This was the usurper, the man who had murdered her family. But, Valerius continued, his gaze flicking to the key still clutched in Alara's hand, found her. Some bleeding heart scavengers. They paid the rent. They kept my prize safe. He smiled, a horrific, thin-lipped expression. And now, on the dawn of her 19th awakening, she has unlocked her full potential and delivered it right to me. She is a Stonecrest asset, Kalen lied, his voice a low growl. He was trapped. This changed everything. She is your mate, Valerius corrected, sniffing the air. Oh, this is delicious. The fates truly are comedians. The last daughter of the night sky, the true Luna-blooded line, mated to the descendant of the pack that let them be slaughtered. Your ancestors made a pact with Nine, Kalen. They looked the other way in exchange for the northern forests. And now you're bonded to the survivor. Kalen's blood ran cold. He hadn't known. The histories, they were lies. It doesn't matter, Kylan said, his wolf taking over. He would not let this rogue take his mate. He would not. She is under my protection. Protection? Valerius laughed. He snapped his fingers. 4 massive, scarred enforcers emerged from the darkness behind him. They were Shadowfell. You have a choice, Alpha, Valerius said, his voice mocking. Your pack or your mate. My men will kill her. Or you can let me take the cradle. Your elders sent you for the cradle, did they not? Give me the girl, and I will let you keep the cradle. Your pack will be healed. You will secure your alliance with the Silver Moon Pack, and this inconvenient little bond will be neatly severed. It was the perfect trap. Kylan was paralyzed. His duty, his pack, his entire life, versus this girl he had only just met, this bond he didn't want. Elara watched his face. She saw the war in his eyes. She saw the agonizing hesitation. He was considering it. He was actually considering trading her for the cradle. Kylan, she whispered, her voice breaking. The power in her veins felt like acid, burning her from the inside out. Valerius saw the hesitation and seized his chance. Take her, he roared at his men. Kylan's choice was stolen. His hesitation, that single, fatal second of indecision, had cost them. 2 of Valerius' men lunged for Elara. Kylan roared, a sound of pure, primal fury, and met them. He shifted, his black wolf exploding into existence, a terrifying mass of shadow and claws. He tore one man's throat out, but the other got past him. He grabbed Elara, his claws digging into her arms. She screamed, and the silver power inside her erupted, blasting the man back against the wall, his skin smoking. Valerius himself moved, not for Elara, but for the cradle. He lunged, his hands outstretched, his eyes glowing with black energy. No! Elara screamed. She tried to stop him, but the second enforcer, the one she had blasted, was already back on his feet. He tackled her, his weight crushing her. A sharp, searing pain shot through her side as a silver blade, coated in what smelled like wolfsbane, slid between her ribs. The pain was blinding. The silver power in her recoiled, retreating from the poison. Kalen! He heard her scream his name, not with her voice, but inside his mind. The mate bond, a true mind link, had just snapped into place. He turned, seeing her on the ground, the man raising the knife for a final blow. He had to choose. Valerius had his hands on the cradle. Kalen's wolf, overriding all duty, all logic, all thought, abandoned the cradle and lunged for Elara. He slammed into the enforcer, his jaws closing on the man's neck, ending him instantly. He turned back, panting, his wolf form bleeding from a dozen cuts. Valerius was gone, and so was the cradle. Kaelin shifted back, rushing to Ilara's side. She was pale, clutching the deep wound in her side. The silver knife was still embedded there. You chose the cradle," she choked, her voice thick with blood and betrayal. "No," Kaelin said, his voice raw. "No, he got away." "You hesitated?" she whispered, the fight leaving her. The silver light in her eyes was dimming. "You hesitated." He stared at her, the reality of his failure crashing down on him. He had hesitated. He had tried to save his pack's artifact first, and in that second he had lost the cradle, and he had damned his mate. I'm sorry," he whispered, the words feeling like ash in his mouth. He took it," she mumbled, her eyes rolling back. My home." "I'm getting you out of here," Kaelin said, his voice thick with a new, terrifying emotion, fear. He gently, firmly pulled the knife free. Ilara screamed, a thin, weak sound. He ripped a piece of his own shirt off, pressing it hard against the wound. "Hold on. Just hold on." He scooped her up into his arms. She was terrifyingly light. He had never seen power like that, and he had never seen it gutter so fast. The Wolfsbane was killing her. He burst out of the facility and ran, not toward Riverbend, but toward Stonecrest Manor, toward his pack's healers. "You're not dying," he growled, more to himself than to her. "I don't care what the fates say. I will not let you die." She was unconscious, her blood soaking into his chest, her faint scent of jasmine already mixing with the metallic tang of her blood. He had returned to his pack with a bleeding, unknown girl who smelled like his fated mate. He had failed to secure the artifact. He had engaged a rival alpha. He was, in every conceivable way, ruined. And as he ran, his wolf, for the first time in his life, felt a terrifying, aching peace. He was carrying his Luna. He was finally whole. The pack infirmary was chaos. The healers, accustomed to mending torn ligaments and battle wounds, recoiled from the black, poisoned energy radiating from Ilara's wound. "It's not just Wolfsbane, Alpha," the head healer, an older woman named Ilara, said, her hands hovering over the wound. It's dark magic. It's eating her light." "Fix it," Kaelin commanded, his voice a low growl. He had not left her side. He was still covered in her blood and his own. "We can't. It's anchored to her magic. To try and remove it might extinguish her." "Livia is here," Marcus said, appearing at Kaelin's elbow. His face was grim. "And the elders, they are assembling." Kaelin's head snapped up. "Let them." "Kaelin, they are talking about rejection. They say this girl is a curse, a night sky witch. They say she's the reason the cradle was lost. Livia is demanding you sever the bond." "Sever the bond?" Kaelin looked down at Ilara's pale, sweat-slicked face. Even in her poisoned state, the bond was a living thing, a warm rope in his chest. "Severing it now would kill her. It might kill him." "Kaelin, they're afraid," Marcus urged. "Valerius has the cradle. He has a weapon of untold power. And you brought the source of that power, a hostile unknown, into our home." "She is not hostile," Kaelin said, his voice dangerously quiet. "They don't see that. They see a Riverbend stray who has cost us our future. Then they are blind." Kaelin stood. "Guard her. No one, He locked eyes with Marcus, and I mean no one comes near her. He strode from the infirmary and into the great hall. It was packed. The pack elders sat at the high table, their faces like stone. And standing in the center, radiating cold fury, was Livia. She was beautiful, an alpha female in her own right, with hair the color of fox fur and eyes like ice. "He's here," she announced, her voice dripping with contempt. "The alpha who traded his pack's future for a scavenger." The assembled pack members muttered, their energy turning against him. "Silence!" Kalen's voice boomed, imbued with alpha command. The hall fell silent, but the resentment was a physical weight. "You have failed," Elder Thomas, the oldest, said. "You were sent to retrieve the lunar cradle. You returned with nothing but a poison, a witch." "She is my mate," Kalen stated, the words echoing. A gasp went through the crowd. Livia looked as if she'd been struck. You accept it? A wolfless, lineageless nothing?" "She is not nothing," Kalen said, his gaze sweeping the room. "She is the last of the night sky line, the true Luna-blooded." The hall erupted. "Treason! Dark magic! The night sky were traitors!" "They were murdered," Kalen roared, silencing them again, "by Valerius, the same rogue who now holds the cradle. He hunted her, he trapped her, he tried to kill her. And our ancestors, Elder Thomas, ours, let it happen." The elder flinched. The secret was out. "This is not just about an artifact," Kalen pressed, stalking the center of the hall. "This is about a person. Valerius didn't just steal a relic, he stole her legacy. And now he's using it, he's draining it. He will use it against us," Livia shouted. "He will destroy us all while you are protecting your pet?" "She is the key," Kalen countered. "The cradle is useless without her. It's an amplifier, but she is the source. He has the weapon, but we have the ammunition." "She is dying," Elder Thomas said coldly. "Our healers cannot help her. The bond will fade. You must reject her, Kalen. Cleanse yourself. Solidify the alliance with Livia, and we will prepare for war." Kalen looked at the hostile faces, his pack, his family. They were demanding he sacrifice her to save them. He had hesitated once before in that storage unit. He had chosen his pack's perceived needs over her life. He would not make that mistake again. No. The word was final, absolute. "I will not reject her. I will not abandon her, and you will not let her die." He turned his gaze on Livia. "You wanted an alliance? You wanted to prove the strength of your bloodline? Then help me save her." Livia stared at him, her pride and her fury warring. "You want my help to save your mate? I want your pack's help. Your healers are known for their skill with elemental magic. This is a light-based wound. Help me, and the alliance stands. Not of marriage, but of survival." It was a desperate gambit. Livia looked at the elders, then back at Kalen. She saw the unwavering resolve in his eyes. He would tear his own pack apart before he let that girl go. He was a true alpha, and he was lost. "Fine," Livia spat. "I will send for my healers, but not for her, Alpha. For us. When she is useful, she will help us retrieve the cradle. And if she fails, I will kill her myself." It was the best he was going to get. Agreed. He turned and walked out, leaving his stunned pack behind him. He returned to the infirmary. Ilara was fading. Her breathing was shallow. He sat beside her, taking her hand. It was cold. "I'm sorry," he whispered, the words just for her. "I'm sorry I hesitated. I was a fool. I was bound by duty, by ambition. I saw a relic. I didn't see you." He squeezed her hand. "Fight, Ilara, please, fight for me, because I am fighting for you." He felt a faint pressure on his hand. Her eyes fluttered, just a fraction. But the poison was spreading. Livia's healers wouldn't arrive for hours. "Kaelin," Marcus said from the door, "there's someone here, an old woman, from Riverbend. She says she's the girl's mother." Kaelin was on his feet in an instant. "Let her in." Martha was brought in, supported by 2 guards. She was frail, but her eyes were fire. She stumbled to Ilara's bedside, collapsing in a fit of coughs. "What have you done to her?" she rasped, looking at Kaelin with pure hatred. "She was attacked," Kaelin said, "by Valerius. He took the cradle." Martha's eyes widened, then filled with tears. It wasn't a cradle, not really. It was a suppressor. Samuel, he found a book, hidden in the unit, in the cradle's lining. He read the runes." Kaelin's blood went cold. What did it say? "It was designed to drain her," Martha wept, stroking Ilara's hair. "To keep her power dormant, to keep her human, until her 19th year, when her blood magic would be too strong. It was meant to curdle her power, to kill her. But it didn't. It just held it, all 19 years of it." "Valerius, he doesn't just have an amplifier," Kaelin realized with dawning horror. "He has a bomb. He has 19 years of her stored, suppressed power." "He needs her blood to unlock it," Martha whispered. "The book said, the blood of the awakened Luna. That's why he's coming. He didn't just take the cradle. He's coming for her." As if summoned by her words, the pack's warning sirens erupted, a deafening, wailing sound that meant one thing: full-scale invasion. Marcus burst in, his face pale. "Alpha, the wards are down. The southern border. It's Valerius. He's here, and he's not alone. He has an army." Kaelin looked at Ilara, dying on the bed. He looked at Martha, weak and old. He looked at the door, where his pack was about to fight and die for a battle he had started. Valerius had the cradle. He was at the gates, and he wanted Ilara's blood to complete his ritual. "Bar the door," Kaelin said to Marcus. "Get Livia, get the elders. We fight. We hold the manor. He does not get to this room." "And her?" Marcus pointed to Ilara. "She is our only hope," Kaelin said. He looked at Martha. "Help me. How do I wake her up? How do I fight this poison?" Martha looked at the wound, her eyes filled with a desperate, ancient knowledge. "It's wolfsbane, but it's bound by shadow magic. You can't fight shadow with shadow." "What then?" Kaelin demanded. "You're her mate," Martha said, her voice shaking. "The bond, it's not just feeling, it's power, it's life. You have to give her yours." "Give her my life?" "Your spark," Martha cried as the sound of fighting erupted outside. "You have to feed the bond. Push your own life force into her. It will dilute the poison, but it will weaken you, Alpha. It might cripple you." Kaelin didn't hesitate this time. He put one hand over Ilara's wound, the other over her heart. He closed his eyes, sinking into the bond. He found the warm, guttering ember of her spirit, and he pushed. He poured his alpha strength, his energy, his wolf, down that bond. He felt an agonizing, tearing sensation, as if his soul were being siphoned. He gritted his teeth, pushing harder. The world went gray at the edges. "Fight, Ilara. Wake up." He felt her spirit flicker. He felt her take what he gave. Outside, the doors of the infirmary exploded. Valerius stood there, flanked by his two remaining enforcers. Livia and Marcus were on the ground, wounded but not dead. "Touching," Valerius sneered. He held a small black vial. "You've saved me the trouble of finding a vein." He looked at Kalen, who was pale and shaking, his power drastically drained. "You're weak, pup. You gave it all to a dying girl. A bad trade." "You won't have her," Kalen growled, staggering to his feet. He was barely strong enough to stand, let alone shift. "I already do." Valerius moved with unnatural speed, backhanding Kalen across the room. Kalen hit the wall and slid down, his vision tunneling. Valerius stood over Ilara, uncorking the vial. "Just a few drops, my dear, and 19 years of your family's power will be all mine. I'll become a god." He reached for her. "No." The voice was not a scream. It was a command. Valerius froze. Ilara was sitting up. Her eyes were open, and they were not silver. They were white, solid, blinding orbs of pure light. The poison was gone, burned away by Kalen's sacrifice. "You are mine," she whispered, and the words were not her own. They were ancient. You're healed?" Valerius stammered, taking a step back. "Healed?" Ilara, or the thing wearing her, laughed. It was a beautiful, terrifying sound. "He woke me." She rose from the bed, not in a sick-room gown, but seemingly clad in armor of shifting moonlight. The power Kalen had poured into her hadn't just healed her, it had merged with her own, stabilizing the raging river. "You hunted my blood," she said, advancing on Valerius. "You murdered my kin. You stole my cradle." It's mine," Valerius shrieked, throwing a bolt of shadow magic at her. Ilara didn't even flinch. She raised her hand, and the shadow magic dissolved, turning into harmless, glittering dust. "You stole a suppressor, little wolf," she said, her voice filled with a cold, cosmic pity. "You thought you were stealing power. You were stealing a cage. The true power is the blood." She grabbed Valerius by the throat, lifting him off the ground. His enforcers lunged. She didn't look at them. She simply pushed. A wave of pure white energy erupted from her, disintegrating them into ash. Valerius kicked, choking, his dark magic useless against her. "Kalen," Ilara said, her voice suddenly her own again, though it echoed with power. She looked at him, slumped against the wall, weak but conscious. "He has the cradle. It's on the lawn. It's hurting. It's calling to me." "Ilara, don't," Kalen choked out. It's too much power." "The cradle? It didn't just hold my power," she said, her eyes fixed on Valerius. "It recorded it. It's a prison, but it's also a copy. He's trying to unmake me with it, to overwrite me." She looked at Valerius, and the ancient voice returned. "You will give it back." She squeezed. Valerius clawed at her hand, his face turning purple. "Release it," she commanded. Miles away, on the lawn, the lunar cradle, which was glowing with a sick, black energy, suddenly flared. The shadow magic was violently ejected from it. Valerius screamed as his connection to it was severed. Ilara threw him to the ground. He landed in a heap, broken. It's free," Ilara whispered, the white light in her eyes softening to silver. The armor of light faded. She swayed, the effort costing her. Kalen used the last of his strength to push himself to his feet and catch her. He held her, his strength returning slowly as the drain on his life force stopped. It's over, he breathed into her hair. No, she whispered, leaning against him. It's not. The cradle. It's calling. It's not stable. It's going to explode. All that energy. 19 years of it. It's too much. Kalen looked out the shattered door. The cradle on the lawn was pulsing, a miniature sun. It will destroy the manor, Marcus said, limping over. It might wipe out the whole valley. I have to reclaim it, Ilara said, pulling away from Kalen. You can't, Kalen said, grabbing her arm. It's too much. It will tear you apart. It's me, she said, her gaze firm, loving, and terrifyingly certain. It's my past. It's my power. I was never meant to be separated from it. It's not a bomb. It's just lost. It's calling for me. She looked at him. You didn't hesitate this time. You saved me. Ilara, now let me save you. She kissed him. It was not a kiss of passion, but of sealing, a promise. Then she turned and walked out of the infirmary. Kalen, his strength returning, followed. The whole pack was emerging from their homes, staring in terror at the pulsing, silver orb on the lawn. Ilara walked toward it, her steps sure. The cradle's light pulsed violently, rejecting her, then recognizing her. She placed her hands on it. The light flared, blinding everyone. Kalen roared, shielding his eyes. There was a sound, not of an explosion, but of a massive cosmic intake of breath. And then, silence. When the light faded, the cradle was gone. And Ilara stood in its place, her eyes shining silver, her hair floating as if underwater. The power wasn't in her, it was her. She was complete. She turned to Kalen, and she smiled, a real human smile. It's quiet, she whispered. The whispers, the humming. It's just me. Kalen walked toward her, his pack parting before him. He stopped, his heart in his throat. This was his mate. This was the Luna of the Stonecrest pack. He dropped to one knee. My Luna, he said, his voice thick. Ilara looked at him, then at the stunned faces of his pack. She saw Livia, her face a mask of awe and terror. She saw the elders, humbled. She saw Martha, being helped by Marcus, weeping tears of joy. Ilara walked to Kalen and put her hand under his chin, lifting his face. Get up, Alpha, she whispered. We have a pack to rebuild. The storage facility was quiet. The sun was setting, painting the scarred, corrugated metal doors in shades of orange and purple. Unit 4B stood open. It was empty. Completely, totally empty. Ilara stood in the doorway, Kalen's arms wrapped around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. It's strange, she said quietly. My entire life was defined by this 10 by 10-foot box. I was terrified of it. I was in it. And now, it's just a box. The lease is up, Kalen murmured into her hair. The debt is paid. It had been 3 months. 3 months of rebuilding. Valerius was in the Stonecrest dungeons, his magic permanently severed by Ilara's blast. His pack had shattered. Livia, in a surprising show of honor, had pledged the Silvermoon pack as allies, not in marriage, but in fealty to a true Luna-blooded. Martha was healthy. Ilara's first act of stabilized power had been to burn the sickness from her mother's lungs. She now lived in the manor, demanding the chefs learn to make her Riverbend cabbage stew, much to the pack's dismay. The Stonecrest pack was healing. The low birth rates, the sickness, it had all been a symptom of the pack's spirit being out of balance, a lingering guilt from the betrayal of the night sky. Ilara's presence, her forgiveness, and her power had recentered them. An elderly couple bought an abandoned antique storage unit, Ilara whispered, tasting the words of her own strange history, and paid on it for 19 years. They weren't just paying rent, Ilara, Kaelin said, holding her tighter. They were guarding a queen. They were the best of us. They were more loyal than any alpha. Ilara leaned back against his chest. His strength was her anchor. Her light was his. The bond was no longer a confusing spark or a painful pull. It was a deep, steady warmth, a home. "I hated you, you know," she admitted, "when you stood there, in this very spot, trying to decide if I was worth less than a silver relic. And I will spend the rest of my life making up for that hesitation," Kaelin said, his voice raw. He turned her in his arms, his silver eyes locking on hers. "I was a fool, blinded by ambition. I was looking for a weapon to save my people. I didn't realize you were my people." She smiled, tracing the line of his jaw. "You're a slow learner, Alpha." "But I learn," he growled, and kissed her. The kiss was deep, promising, and held the wild, sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine and pine. He pulled back, resting his forehead against hers. "Let's go home." Ilara took one last look at the empty, dark square of Unit 4B. It wasn't a prison, she decided, and it wasn't a tomb. It was just a waiting room. "And I," Kaelin said, taking her hand and leading her out into the moonlight, "was late." He pulled the metal door down, the groaning sound of the scarred metal a final, closing note. The lock clicked shut, its purpose, finally, after 19 long years, fulfilled.